that, but no, you just said I'm a student.
Yeah,
that's just been your way.
But I mean, but we have to constantly learn. I mean, that's why our mantra is value growth, because to grow, you have to constantly learn. You have to constantly move, constantly improve. I mean, that's the key. That's what makes life fun, I think.
Can I be real? Huh? Can I be real? Yeah. Hey, first order of business, I gotta address the people.
For a lot of athletes now coming out who get paid, say, big endorsements, and they seem broke in a couple of years.
Yeah, well, because here's the problem. I mean, once you retire, you don't have that source of income that's coming in, right? So even if you save over a 15-year career, if your spending habits remain the same, eventually that well's going to run dry, right? So unfortunately for us athletes, the retirement age is 32, 34 if you're lucky, 37 like myself. What comes next? Right, so the question needs to be, what comes next? What can I do? What is my passion? Not where I can create the most value or generate the most revenue, but what is my next passion? When you find that next passion, then everything else will make sense. But see, that's the beautiful part about business, right? You're not restricted by salary cap regulations, right? The roster's not
Careful,
restricted.
we might have to...
You get a chance to work with people that are that think the same way and have the same kind of passion. It makes for a beautiful environment.
Alright, so first things first, I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm not tired. I am. But I'm actually at the airport right now. I am heading to California. For what? I'll explain in a little bit. Alright, so landed in Cali. Somebody tell me why it's colder out here than it is in Maryland. That's a problem. So I'm looking for Dan right now. Yo.
It's good, G. It's the vlog. Yo, what's up with it, man? We out here in LA.
Hey yo, so turns out that In-N-Out only has like 4 orders. Like that's it. Three? It's strictly burgers.
3 burgers.
3 burgers.
And they're all pretty much the same.
Alright, so I know a lot of y'all are probably like, why is he not like on a court right now? I know this video looks a little bit different. It does, right? Some of you guys that follow me on Instagram have been seeing a couple of posts I've been putting up about entrepreneurship, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. In my previous video, I talked about why I think athletes should spend their free time doing some type of education, self-education. Even if you look at a guy like Kobe Bryant, right? Earlier in the video, you saw Kobe Bryant talking about the importance of being prepared. I truly believe that even if you play until you're 40,
Perfectly.
orchestrated symphony.
What?
You need to consistently be growing. That is so much time to grow your mind, so when you're done playing, you hit the ground running, right? She put a video up recently saying why I think athletes have the perfect mentality when it comes to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, you know, in the beginning, I just wanted to play. I didn't want to talk, I just wanted to play. But I had to hone my skills in terms of making sure that I could do an interview. And I had to develop that, but also the discipline that I had as a basketball player. Now I have the same discipline as a father, as a son, as a CEO. I'm one of the most disciplined men you're gonna ever meet.
Look, if you're a professional athlete, especially overseas, like in a different country, like you're an entrepreneur, okay? You are an entrepreneur already. You have to solve problems every single day, living in a different culture, not understanding the language, the shower's cold, the Wi-Fi cuts off, right? And you have to just figure all this stuff out. Things that most people, if they're not put in that situation, are never gonna understand. That's how entrepreneurship is, right? There's never a day that's exactly the same, right? And for some, it's a little scary.
Danger is very real, but fear is a choice.
But for me, that's fun, that's exciting. I believe that entrepreneurship and athletics are extremely similar, right? This is why I truly believe that we should not have as many athletes coming back from playing, whether it be, 4, 5, or 20-year careers, and struggling with their money coming home, not being able to support their families, losing all of the money. Even if you're Kobe Bryant, right? A lot of guys playing overseas are not making Kobe Bryant money, right? But even if you're Kobe Bryant and you play until you're 37 and all you do is save, you will not have enough money, especially at the lifestyle that you're living and want to live. You just have to understand how money works and understand that those, 3 hours in between lifting and practice, or, that weekend where you're off, maybe use that time to read something, maybe use that time to develop a skill. If you're an athlete, you have to have the ability to make split-second decisions, right? Somebody cut you. Look at Kyrie. Look at some of the artistry on a court that Kyrie has created. That right there is some form of genius somewhere, right? You just have to tap in and understand what parts of your mind you can use when you're done playing outside of the sport, right? Because one thing I think a lot of times happens is that people think that you can only have one passion in life, right? And that's what Kobe Bryant explained. He said, no, you can have multiple passions. Your passions can evolve, right? Your passions can evolve through stages in your life, because look, if you play until you're 35, you are still young, right? Gary Vee.
The second you can get quiet in here and stop worrying about the judgment of others, the second shit starts actually happening.
Didn't get big until he was about 32. Now he had to develop that, right? But you have a whole life ahead of you at 35. You have people that are 70 years old that are living life passionately. They're moving around. They're still grinding. And people who lose their spirit at 30. It's not that life hit one more than it hit the other. Are there people that go through some extremely tough times? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, one thing I always think about, and I go back to that first video of Jeff. I don't believe in bad days. I believe in good days, and then I believe in character building days. There is always somebody that has it worse than you, that has overcome their obstacles. So what excuse do you have? Right? So that's why I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I'm actually right now on a couple of fronts looking at building my social media. I'm looking at building my YouTube channel. Also partner with the financial services company, helping teach people in the community. And again, like I said, athletes, even people in college. Look, I played Division I basketball, graduated at 3.5. I have 2 degrees. This is not to brag, but this is to say that even still, coming out of college, I still didn't really understand about my own personal finances. How often in school do we learn how to plan for the future when it comes to our own money? It's rare. Education is not strictly, education at school, at college. Education is, how many experiences can you have? How many people can you meet? How many, books can you read? Can you self-develop? Can you be in an environment and meet somebody? You're sitting at a Fridays by yourself and you end up meeting a guy. It turns out he's from Antigua, and hear his story and hear how, he sees the world. Can you step into somebody else's point of view and learn that way? Because that right there is more important than any degree you're ever gonna get. One person that I follow a lot and I believe in a lot of things that he talks about is Trevor Noah. And I'm telling anybody that I come in contact with, Trevor Noah talks about, he says that travel is the antidote to ignorance.
There's one thing you will never waste your money on. It's traveling. Travel the world. See another place. Discover a different point of view. Traveling is the antidote to ignorance. And that's so true. It changes your mind, your perspective, how you believe, what you believe. And one of the greatest things you can do when you travel, one of the greatest things you can do is traveling to a country where they don't speak your language. That's probably my favorite thing. Going to a place where they don't speak English just to make you realize how insignificant you really are. You're not the center of the universe. There's another world that exists beyond you. I try and do that all the time.
Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, putting yourself in another culture where you're not normal, right? And you have to figure things out. You have to learn on the go. You have to learn a new language. You have to learn a new culture, learn how people live, see how the world views the United States from the outside looking in. And let's make this clear from the beginning, it is not and never will be all about the money. That being said, if you're somebody that likes to travel, if you're somebody that likes to spend time with family, you are going to need a little bit of money in this country to make that happen.
Let me ask you a question. Who makes more money today than you did at your very first job? That's quite a lot of people. Okay. Who still, at the end of the month, sometimes is out of money? Or a lot of times, maybe. Yeah, that's quite a lot, huh? Okay, you're not alone. And this is why. It's called Parkinson's Law. Your expenses will always rise to match your income. This is why most people retire poor, and why lottery winners tend to end up with less money a few years after they won than they had before. So when I had money, I would spend it as soon as I could. And then when I found my purpose working with students, I just didn't ask for it. I didn't care. I just wanted to change the world, which I had no impact on whatsoever with €3.97.
You cannot take a trip from here to China without any money in your pocket. It's impossible. Okay, unless you get sponsored, but guess what? They had to pay for it. So what I believe money does is money buys you time and buys you experience. And that is more important than anything, okay? If your family hasn't had a chance to go visit Brazil or Italy, you are going to need some capital to do that. If I want to help somebody build a business and invest in them, I'm gonna need to have the funds to do it. Okay, so that is where business ownership, that's where entrepreneurship comes into play, because entrepreneurship is not just about you, it's about the people that you can impact and the people that you can help around you. Things that I'm passionate about, helping other people, making an impact on the world, the effect that visual media has on people and on society, making sure that athletes don't come home and struggle after they just had this illustrious career overseas. And I'll throw a clip up of Gary Vee.
We get back to the hotel. Who are the only two people having drinks from midnight to 1:30 in the morning? Me, my brother, and Steve Ross. Guy's 75 and grinding and hustling. You got time.
Yeah. A lot of people will say, I would never work until I'm 95. I can't believe that. That's crazy, right? But what that person has found is that they are able to live a life that's passionate, that they can do. They don't want to stop. Why would they want to stop if they're having fun and loving what they're doing, right? So this mindset of, oh no, that's crazy, oh that's weird, that's different, that holds a lot of people back. It really does. Because a lot of those things that are different for a reason. Because they're not normal. Okay, and normal gets you normal. If you want extraordinary, if you want different, if you want to live a life where you're making an impact on the world and people around you, you can't do that being normal. You're gonna have to fight through being frustrated, right? Fight through the struggle sometimes, right? Fight through the ups and downs. But that's up to anybody watching that is an athlete, anybody watching that is looking to play overseas. Do it, of course. Go travel, go spend time playing a sport that you love as long as you can. That being said, don't forget to develop your mind. It's about impact at the end of the day. For me, playing down in Brazil, the time I spent down there, I felt better after games where I played well, not because I played well, but because you have a parent that comes down with their 3-year-old son or their 4-year-old daughter and says that, they look up to you, or is like trying to learn English now because of you. Like, that right there is impact. One thing that Michael Jordan said that will stick with me forever, he said that he plays every single game as hard as he can because he knows that one person out in that crowd, that may be their only chance ever to see Michael Jordan play the game of basketball. That right there is a why bigger than yourself.